Hello everyone. So I don't know if I've done a video yet since that little Emily was born or not. So a lot of updates. So she was 6 months old yesterday. She was due on the 30th of May. If you can't remember, but she came on the 1st of June. She came 2 days late. I'll tell this story really quickly because, to be honest, it was a quick story anyway. It was a very quick labour. So on the 1st of June, I actually went in at 9:30 that morning for a growth scan. Everything was fine. She was growing fine, and they estimated her at about £8.7, sorry, is what they estimated her at. And normally when I go for my growth scans, I have to see a midwife after and then a doctor. So I did that. So I saw the midwife. My blood pressure and things were fine. And then I went in to see the doctor. Obviously, I was overdue by this point. I was 2 days late. And I asked if I could get a date of induction, in case I keep, in case she's very comfy in there, basically. Now, obviously her brother's birthday is the 4th of June, so at this point I'm thinking, please don't give me a date before then. But the first date they gave me, I told myself, yes, I'll take it, because I don't know when the next date would be. So the date she said to me was the 3rd of June. And they'll call you that morning to tell you what time to come in. I'm thinking, okay. I'm thinking if it's anything like Louise, she'll probably come quickly and hopefully on that day and not on Louise's birthday, because I wanted them to have their own day. Anyway, while I was there, she asked if I wanted a stretch and sweep. Overdue, I thought, do you know what? Yeah, let's go for one. And she did one. She said, I think you might go into labour. She says you're very favourable and you're already 2 centimetres. And I was like, oh, okay. I says, but I don't think I will. You know your body generally, don't you? You just think, yeah, I'm not going into labour. Oh, Emily, what did you drop your dummy for then? Yeah, do this. Squeaky. Trying to grab my phone, aren't you? She's trying to grab my phone. So anyway, I think because my father-in-law used to take me to my growth scans in Harrogate because I can't drive. Because Jack was obviously working with me being on maternity leave at this point. He needed to be out there working really. So he used to help me a lot with the growth scans and stuff. So I think it was about 10:30 he finally arrived to pick me up. My stretch and sweep was at about 10:15. So I was stood outside. I didn't go straight outside. But I was stood outside till about 10:30. He picked me up at 10:30. And we were in the car for a while because the traffic was awful, that road. We were told a few months in advance that this road would be like this between a certain day and a certain day. And I said to my husband, I said to Jack, I said, I bet you she comes during those days, at one point during those days. Anyway, so we're in the car and I'm getting these little niggles, but in my head I'm thinking this is just from the stretch and sweep. This is just like, the aftermath of the stretch and sweep, because she was, she was, yeah. Anyway, so then I'm thinking, I think it got about half an hour later, which is normally when we should be home, but we were in a traffic jam. Half an hour later, I'm thinking, do you know what, maybe I should start timing these and just making sure. So I started timing them in the car, trying not to make it obvious to my father-in-law that, do you know what, I'm having pains every so often right now. But I think he could see I was in a bit of discomfort, and he said, do you want me to turn around? And I said no. I said, I don't know if it's that yet. Let's go home. I can have something to eat, and if it is what it is, and whatnot, then hopefully Jack can come home. I mean, the last thing I wanted was my father-in-law going in there watching me in labour. I mean, ultimately, as the story goes on, you'll find out he did probably see me in labour. Well, he did. Anyway, so we finally got home at 11:30. Now, Harrogate and Ripon aren't that far away, but the traffic that day was awful. Emily, so is that whining? Oh. Sorry, I'm full of cold. But I've not done this yet, and I needed to. What's this? She likes this one. What is this? You're just too tired. I think she's getting tired. I'm going to try and make this a bit quicker than I'm doing it. I told you, quick story. I'll say this quickly. I'm not saying it quickly at all, am I? Anyway, so yeah, we got back at 11:30, and I needed a pee, so I went for a wee. Little did I know, actually, yeah, I'm in labour, because when I wiped, my bloody show was there. And I instantly rang my husband. And I just said, yeah, Jack, I think you need to come home. And he was like, what do you mean? I says, well, I've just gone to the toilet. We've just got home. I says, and my bloody show is there. It's really thick. And he was like, oh, my God. He says, are you having contractions? I says, yeah. I says, I think I've been having them in the car. I said to him, I thought they were about niggles, but no, I think they're contractions. And he was in the middle of a garden at this point. And he just says, okay, let me finish this garden and I'll be home. And I says, yeah, it's okay. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I mean, my mistake, maybe. So the pains did start coming faster and stronger. And I ended up running a bath and getting in the bath to ease the pain. I took some paracetamol and I tried to eat something. Because I just knew in my head, this is going to take a while and I need to, I need some energy somehow for when I need to start pushing and stuff. Oh, Emily, I'm going to just try lie down on me. Hang on. Because you're just so wittery, because you're so sleepy. Or do you want some more of that? Some more of that? You need to take the dummy out there for it. Right, so yeah, so I ended up running the bath. I got in the bath to ease pain. I'd had some paracetamol. Anyway, so Jack got back at 1 o'clock. So obviously, bearing in mind, I rang him at 11:30. It wasn't just a quick. Let me just quickly finish this. But it did tell me a story about a man getting in his face about this woman's lawn. Oh my days. Anyway. And he was just, he said to, because this bloke said to Jack apparently, when are you doing this bit? And he was like, I don't know right now. I need to go. And he goes, you're not going anywhere until you've done this. And Jack was like, I'm blooming am. My wife's in labour. I need to go. And he was full on arguing with him over it. And it was just, Jack was just like, yeah, I'm off. Anyway, so 1 o'clock he got back and he came up to the bath and he said, do we need to go? And I said, I don't think so. Not yet. And normally at this point, because you'll find out in a minute at what stage I was probably at, but normally at this point I'd know if baby was about close or not close, etc. To me, I didn't think she was anywhere near coming yet. Not at all. So that was at 1 o'clock. And then at 1:30, I got out of the bath and I came down and I said to Jack, I think we need to go. And he was like, right, okay. I says, he put everything in the car and off we went. And the pains were getting really bad. I rang the hospital and I says, I'm on my way. I'd rang them obviously previously to say that I think I'm in labour. Anyway, so the lady said, because she could hear in my voice that they were coming close and fast. Excuse me. She says, if at any point you feel like you're going to push, you need to pull over and ring 999. And I was just like, God, I hope I don't need to do that. This is the last thing I wanted to do was give birth in his car. I mean, it could be cleaned up, but still. Anyway, so we got to the hospital at about 5 to 2, sorry. 5 to 12. 5 to 2, we got to the hospital. And I said to Jack, I said, I think she's coming very soon. Where's she done again? There it is. I'm just, bear with me again. I'm just going to wrap her in her blankie because someone is very tired. Whoopsie. Pillow on phone. My little spud. She woke up a bit early, didn't you? Because she went to sleep late. She woke up for a bottle at midnight, which she doesn't normally do. She normally goes to sleep around 8 and 9 on a night, and then she don't wake up normally till the morning. So waking up at midnight for a feed is not like Emily. Right. Anyway, yeah, we got to the hospital at 5 to 2. You know, the short story is not turning out to be short, is it? But it's a really short story, so I don't know why I make it so long. Anyway, yeah, 5 to 2, we got to the hospital, and I said to Jack, I think this baby is coming soon. I said, there's no way I'm walking through that hospital, because I don't know why it is where it is, but the maternity bit is right at the back of the hospital, and you've got to walk from the front of the hospital. It's right at the back, and it's upstairs. You've got to go up a lift. Ridiculous. Anyway, so Jack went in. He ran in to get a wheelchair. He had to park somewhere that you're not really supposed to park. And a man said, "Do you know how long you're going to be? This is a 5-minute drop-off parking space or whatever." And Jack was like, "No, I don't." I says, "But," he says, "I can't just sit in that queue for the car park. My wife's going to give birth any minute." Anyway, he got the chair, and he was pulling me backwards because it moved quicker that way. And it must have been the busiest day in the hospital. I've never seen it that busy. I'd obviously been back and forth quite often with my growth scans. I've never seen it that busy, ever. And I'm thinking, the one day that I go into labour and I'm I wasn't screaming, howling, but I was screaming a little bit down the corridor, and I'm thinking, the one day I go into labour and every bugger's there, and there's 2 little ladies in front of Jack walking as slow as a snail, and Jack can't get past them, and it's like, God's sake. Anyway, a midwife spotted or heard me, and she came running down the corridor, and she was like, "It's all right, Dad, I'm here, I'm a midwife. You keep pushing, I'll deal with Mummy." So we got to the end of the corridor. My waters broke. In my head, I'm thinking someone needs to clean that up because someone's going to slip. Never mind the fact I'm in labour. Someone needs to clean that up. Anyway, we got round the corner and there was a massive queue for the lift. And the midwife had to say, "I'm really sorry, we need this next lift. This lady's going to give birth very soon." And I'm sat there on the wheelchair waiting for this lift to come. And I said, Jack, I need to spin round. I need to get up. This baby's coming. Anyway, the lift doors open and it's full. There's a lady with a massive trolley in there, and I'm thinking, come on, you need to get out. All these people in the queue looking at me like, oh my God, how embarrassing. And I'm thinking, it's natural. So finally these people come out of the lift. We get in the lift. The doors literally just close, and Emily's head is out in my knickers. And the midwife is trying to shuffle them down a little bit just to give her head a bit of room. Luckily, I had a maxi dress on. It's summer, isn't it? June, nice and warm. Although it wasn't as warm as I thought it would be for that time of year. And I thought, oh my God, this bit was going to slip out, a whole of it, into my pants. She didn't, luckily. We managed to get through into the labour ward, into the room, and the moment a midwife cut my knickers off, which was very quick, literally we got into the room and Emily just kind of slid out. I did no pushing whatsoever. And I looked like I had just done my makeup. And Jack was like, how do you look like that? You've just given birth. And I says, but have I? I says, I don't think I pushed. Like, I think I did a tiny little push to get the rest of her body out. But that were it. That was it. She was out. And we were like, oh my God, she's here. Our baby girl. You know, we finally got a baby girl. She's here. I cry for all of them. Every time they're born, I've cried because I've been so happy. I absolutely adore my kids. Adore babies. She's so beautiful. She's such a lovely baby. Like I say, she sleeps really well at night. Not so much through the day, but her brothers wake her up a lot. I'm going to lose my voice in a minute. But she's such a little treasure. She's amazing. And Rory is absolutely incredible with her half the time. He's 6 years old. He has moments where it's like, I don't want to do that. I want to play. But he is very helpful with her. Like, if I need to get up and cook their tea, or I need a pee, he'll watch her. Or, not anything. Like I say, he's 6. Sometimes he's like, I don't want to do that. But he adores her, and Emily adores him. You can see it all over her face. She loves all her brothers. Archie and Louis. Archie is getting better. He used to be quite rough, but is unaware when he's cuddling her, to not put too much pressure there. It puts a bit too much pressure there sometimes. And then Louis does silly things sometimes, and you think, why are you doing that? You know you're not supposed to do that. It's not nice. Blah, blah, blah. He's 3. But still, you've got to tell them, don't you? So yeah, that's Emily's birth story. She's doing incredible. She started putting weight on quite slowly in the beginning. But from what you've seen, she's gone to sleep now. Look, she was tired. From what you saw, when she was sat up on my knees, she's starting to put on that bit of podge. She's 6 months, obviously. She was in her Christmas outfit. We've got Christmas decorations up. Christmas cushions. Some decorations on my fireplace. And on my windowsill. And then the giraffe behind me. Got some bells on it, but I put that on a few years ago and I just never took it off because I just think it looks alright and it's a decent colour for any time of the year, really. But yeah, apart from that, going on to the boys that are doing really well at school. The teachers adore them. Obviously, they play up more for me. So when I go for parents' evenings and they're like, you've got such lovely little boys, they're so pleasant and friendly, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, are you talking about my kids? You can't be talking about my kids. Because they fight like something else sometimes, And Louis he's got an awful whine. In fact, Rory does. I think Rory's whine is the one that annoys me the most. And I think it's because he's 6, you don't expect him to be whining like a 3-year-old. Louis is just incredibly loud and it doesn't need to be. But they're all doing really well at school. Rory's nearly coming off of Read Write Inc, which is the reading programme that they do at school. Which means he can start bringing books home from the library, like proper reading books. And he seems to be enjoying his reading. He enjoys his writing. He's not so keen on maths. He needs a bit of extra support there. And we're trying to do more things with him at home. As best we can. As with 4 kids, you try to fit it in somewhere, don't you? But you do math in everyday life, and we could just sit here on an evening And do it with anything, like Rory, without counting how many polar bears are on the Christmas tree. There's 3. He should be able to do that in his head quite easily. But these are the things that he struggles with a little bit. He's not got a lot of confidence. So in the class, he's not one to likely put his hand up and ask for help. He'll try ask for help from his friends, which is all great, but sometimes they might get the answers wrong, which means he's going to get the answers wrong. So we need to build up his confidence just a little bit. But he's doing really well, and he's a friendly little boy, apparently. He wants to help people, but he needs help too. But he's pleasant. Archie, the teachers absolutely love him. He's got a child in his class that's on the spectrum for autism or ADHD. So it can be a bit rough if he doesn't know what he's doing as such. And, it can be a bit mean, not by any fault of his own. But Archie's taken to him really well. And if the teachers need someone to be with him, they know they can trust Archie to be with him. He'll try to understand his ways. It's just really lovely with this boy, and it makes me really proud. And it, it shows that they've picked up on Mummy's kind nature. Because that's definitely something I would have done in school, being the person to try and understand that other kid that is a bit different. And I couldn't be prouder of him for that, because if anything, you want your kids to grow up and not treat anybody differently. And to play with every kid, not just the ones that are the same, if you know what I mean. So yeah, and then Louis, I know he's a cuddly little boy, really cuddly little boy, and in his parents' evening they said that he loves his cuddles, doesn't he? And he's so lovely. He loves his singing, which again got from his mummy. He loves getting involved. He's not afraid to do new things. But he's doing so well, and he's settled in perfectly. And I knew he would from going in and out, taking Archie anyway. He's done, yeah, they're all doing really well. Dad is in a new job now as well. He got made redundant from the job he had, which was at Bachelor's. He was one of the drivers that went out and picked up the cars and took them to the garages, blah, blah, blah. He got made redundant 3 weeks before I was due with Emily. So that was a bit of a hit for us all. Nothing holds this man back though. Like, he went straight out there and he went back to doing his gardening the best he could to get the money in to pay for everything. And now he's got a job with McAdams recovery service. They're also a garage, but he's one of the recovery drivers. He'll do like 4 days on, 4 days off kind of thing. And when he's on, he's always got this phone that pings at him when there's a job. He'll be gone all day. And sometimes he's not back till I'm in bed. And sometimes I go to bed at 11:30. Sometimes he doesn't come back till early hours of the morning. He's supposed to have 9 hours He's supposed to have 9 hours rest. Basically, once he's come home, sometimes it don't work out that way. But he does eventually get that 9 hours rest, which sometimes means he's not going back to work till like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But you've got to obviously let him sleep, because otherwise he's got to go back out there into the roads. So it's really important he gets that rest. But he's enjoying it. So it generally means I'm at home with the kids for 4 days on my own, which is fine. Because he seems to think with this job he should be able to I should be able to quit my job. and he should be able to pay me an allowance. So that's really helpful. It means I don't have to worry about going back to work, and I can watch my kids grow. And then once they're all in school, then I can go back and do like a school hour job. I can go back and do what I do, and just do it around the school hours, because everyone needs carers, and I know any amount of hours is better than nothing. So yeah, that's the update in our life. We're still in Ripon. We've not moved. I don't think we're going to move. We're settled in Ripon. We might not always be in this house. I mean, ideally, we want to buy this house. And there's so much we want to do to it, and we can't because it's not ours. But we like this area. The school's on our doorstep. Morrison's is there. Town's a 15-minute walk. Everything's just here, and it's small, and it's not too overcrowded.